Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Museum Munchkins. I'm Mr. Nick, and today we are talking all about these animals, spiders. And we're going to start off by singing a spider song. Now, I don't have my guitar with me today because today's spider song, I'm going to be needing to use my hands for something else during our song. So we're going to be singing the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Have you ever learned how to sing that song before? Well, we're going to learn how to do that today. And so we're going to do some hand motions along with it that's going to help us sort of tell a little story while we sing our song. So the first thing that we need to do is, can everyone hold up their hands? Excellent. Now with one hand, we're going to make a letter L. So we're going to stick up just our pointer finger and our thumb. And then we're going to do the same thing with our other hand, just like this. And then we're going to turn one of our hands upside down like that so we can make kind of a rectangle here. And that's going to be our spider for our song. So when we do our motions like this, we can pretend like the spider is crawling up. Very good. So we're going to, our song goes like this. It goes, the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. So we can make our hands climb up like that. Down came the rain. Can we wiggle our fingers like that? Like it's the rain coming down. And washed the spider out. Out came the sun. And we can put our hands up above our head like a big sun rising. And dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider, can we make our hands like our spider again? Climbed up the spout again. Very good. Now let's try to put that all together, all right? Are you ready? We'll still go kind of slow so we can follow along. The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. Then the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again. Very good. Let's try singing it a little bit faster, okay? The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. Then the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again. Now, what if there was a big spider? Can we make our arms really big? And for this time, we're going to sort of go like this to be a big spider, but the rest of our song will be the same. Are you ready? The big spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. Then the big spider climbed up the spout again. All right, now what if we had the teeniest, weeniest little teeny tiny spider? Can we make a really small spider with our fingers? Now let's sing it again. Are you ready? The teensy weensy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. Then the itsy teensy weensy spider climbed up the spout again. Very good. Let's do it one more time, just the regular way. Are you ready? The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. Then the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again. Very good. Thanks so much for singing that song with me. And now we're going to talk a little bit about spiders. Now, have you ever seen a spider before? Maybe you've seen them crawling around your house or outside in the yard or in your garden. So we find spiders all over the place. In fact, spiders are found all around the world on every continent except for way down south here in Antarctica where it's really, really cold. But otherwise, we find spiders everywhere in the world. They're found all over the place, and there are about 48,000 different types of spiders. There's so many of them. And while we're talking about spiders, if you think of a question that you might want answered about spiders, you can let us know down in the comments, and we're going to answer those questions in a little bit. Now, spiders are a type of animal called an arachnid. Can you say that word with me? Arachnid. How about let's say it really slow, because spiders like to be kind of slow and sneaky. Arachnid. Very good. So sometimes people confuse them with insects, but they're much different. They're not insects. They're much different than insects. They're arachnids. And some other arachnids that you might have heard of before are things like scorpions or ticks. We hear a lot about ticks up here in Wisconsin. And those are another type of arachnid, just like a spider. And some people, like me, think that spiders are actually a little bit scary. So I'm actually afraid of spiders. I don't like when I see spiders around my house or out in my garden. But even though I think they're a little bit scary, they're still really interesting animals that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Now, spiders have two body segments. They have two parts of their body. You can actually see if we look at this picture. I don't really like to look at this picture, but let's take a look at this picture and we can see there are two body segments. So there's one here and one back here. So this one up here, the front one, is called their prosoma. And their prosoma is kind of like their head and their chest, but it's stuck together. So their head and their chest are stuck together to make their prosoma. And then this back part, and their prosoma is where we find their eyes and their mouth and where all of their legs are connected to their body. So their prosoma is pretty important. Then back here is their second body segment, and it's called an opisthothoma. That's a fun word to say, opisthothoma. So their opisthothoma is up the back part of their body, and that's actually where we find their heart and their lungs and where they make silk to make their webs. So their opisthothoma and their prosoma, and they're both very, very important. Now, spiders have on the front of their bodies, on their prosoma, they have their eyes. Can you find your eyes? Here are my eyes, right here above my nose, on either side of my nose, above my mouth. Well, we have two eyes. Humans have 2 eyes. But spiders have 8 eyes. They have 2 kind of in the middle of their head, and then 2 more just off to the side of that, and then 2 more just a little bit higher, and then 2 more just a little bit higher and back. But the 2 big ones right in the front of their prosoma are the ones that they use the most. So, and their eyesight is actually pretty good. So, it's pretty good. So, a dragon or a spider has eyesight that's about 10 times better than a dragonfly's eyesight, and dragonflies have some of the best eyesight of any insect that we find on our planet. So they have really good eyes. They're about a fifth as good as ours, so not quite as good as our eyes, but they are still really good at seeing things, and their eyes are very, very important for them, especially when they're climbing around. So when we're climbing around, have you ever been to the playground and climbed around on the monkey bars? Well, in our ears, there are special things in our ears that help our body know which way is up and which way is down. But all animals don't have that. And so spiders are one of those animals. So they use their eyes to help them tell which way is up and which way is down. And that can be pretty important when you're so small and you're climbing around on things. And spiders have 8 eyes, but they also have 8 of something else. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 legs. So where are your legs? Can you find your legs too? Yeah, they're down here at the bottom part of our body. We have 2 legs, but spiders have 8 legs, and their legs are really, really interesting. On the end of each of their legs, they have 2 or sometimes 3, depending on what kind of spider they are, 2 or 3 little claws on the ends of each of their legs. They're very, very small, and those help them to grab onto things. And then in between those claws, there are sometimes as many as 1,000 little tiny hairs that help them to grab onto just about any surface that they want to climb on. That's why spiders can climb straight up your window on the glass. They can climb on the ceiling without falling off because they have all these sticky little hairs between their claws on all 8 of their legs that help them to grab onto things. And their legs are also really interesting because they have little teeny tiny muscles in their legs that help their legs bend in toward their bodies, but they don't have muscles that help their legs bend and stretch out away from their bodies. Instead, they use hydraulic pressure. So they actually pump their blood out into their legs. Anytime a spider's leg moves out, that's their blood getting pumped into their leg to push their leg out. And then their little muscles pull their legs back in, but they push their blood out in their legs, and that helps them to move around. Really interesting, isn't it? They don't have muscles that move their legs one way, but they have little teeny tiny muscles that help their legs move another way. Pretty interesting. And jumping spiders can do that really, really fast. So a jumping spider can push their blood into their legs so fast that they can jump really far. Some jumping spiders can jump as far as 50 times the length of their body in one jump. That is a crazy, crazy far way to jump. By just pumping your blood into your legs, I think that's really interesting that they can jump just that far. And it's really important that they're able to do that fast, not just jumping spiders, but all spiders, because most spiders are really active predators. They're walking around or hiding in the shadows, and then they chase their prey down and catch it with their legs and with their fangs. So some spiders use a web, but lots of spiders chase their prey. So they have to be really good at moving their legs very fast to hunt their things. Now, like we said, some spiders use their webs to catch food. And their webs are made out of silk that their body produces. So back here in the back part of their body, do you remember what that's called? Their opistosoma. Back here in the very back of their opistosoma, there are little tiny things called spinnerets, and that's where their silk comes from. So the spinnerets spin the silk out of their body, and they can use that to attach in between things to make their web. Even spiders who don't make webs still have spinnerets, and they can wrap up whatever the food is that they caught in their silk. So they'll wrap that up sometimes too. Now their webs are really strong and really sticky, and once an insect or something gets caught in their web, it's really hard for them to get out. And the spiders can actually feel in their legs all the little vibrations of the insects trying to get out of their webs, and they'll run across their webs really quickly to bite their prey that's caught in their web and inject it with their venom to stop it from moving, and then they'll spin it up in some more silk. So they're pretty interesting, really good at catching things with their webs. Like I said, they also have fangs at the front of their mouth, and those fangs are what help them to really catch their prey. So they have fangs, and those fangs have venom, which helps them to eat their food, but it also helps them to slow their food down. when they're trying to catch it too. So almost all spiders have fangs and have venom, but very, very few spiders are actually dangerous for humans, to be around humans if they were to bite us with their fangs. Actually, most spiders, their fangs are too small to actually even bite us, so we don't even have to worry about them. But that still doesn't make me like them really that much anymore. But they have to have those fangs and that venom to be able to digest their food, because spiders also have really, really long, very skinny stomachs. So their stomachs aren't very big, so they have to eat everything as a liquid diet. And they inject their venom to help turn their prey into a liquid that they can swallow up. So actually, down in their stomach too, they have little strainers. So have you ever seen something like this around your kitchen before? Sometimes we call it a sifter or a strainer. It's kind of got lots of little holes in it. Well, there's something similar in a spider's digestive system that helps to stop them from digesting things that are too big to go through their stomach. So I'm going to pretend like this little water bowl is my spider mouth, and it's got some water in it, and I'm going to put, maybe some grasshoppers. We'll put some grasshoppers in there, and a beetle, and a dragonfly, and a regular fly. So we got all these different things in our spider mouth. So I got my little spider here to come along to eat things. Now, these dragonflies and all these bugs are going to be too big to fit through the spider's stomach. So these strainers help, once the spiders turn their prey into a liquid, it leaves the outside of their body, the hard exoskeleton of the insects. It'll leave that, but all of the juices inside that they've made with their venom and that are inside the insects already, those will go right through the strainer and they'll drip out the bottom. And so that's what goes into the spider's stomach, but everything else stays on the outside. Pretty interesting, I thought. And and like I said, spiders are not my favorite animals, but I do think that they're really interesting animals. And if you're someone who doesn't really like spiders either, you might really like this book that I brought today to share with you guys. It's called I'm Trying to Love Spiders, and it's by Bethany Barton. I'm trying to love spiders. It isn't easy. I keep telling myself spiders are cool. I want to love them. I mean, spiders have been around for millions of years, moving silently, swinging into action. I want to think of them like bug ninjas. Like this spider right here. I'm going to try really hard to like him. Maybe if I study him for a while. I think it's working. It's moving! Squish it, squish it, squish it! That didn't work out. But next time will be better. Next time, I'll focus on all the cool superpowers spiders have, like 8 eyes. And spider webs. Spider webs are cool. Spiders spin webs out of protein-packed spider silk they make themselves. That's like you or me building a house with our hair and then catching food on it. Some spiders even have billions of tiny hairs called scapulae on their legs that let them stick on walls or ceilings or, oh my gosh, there's a spider stuck on there, smash it, squash it, get it right now. We're not very good at loving spiders just yet. If only spiders were more like things I really love, like burritos and soccer and rocket ships. Instead, their closest relatives are also totally gross. But it's not like I'm scared of every icky thing. It's just something about spiders. Maybe it's the fact that almost all spiders are venomous. Spiders can't chew very well. They need liquid foods. Since no one's invented a tiny spider-sized blender, spiders rely on their venom to dissolve their dinners, making bugs soft and slurpable. But to be fair, while there are about 40,000 known species of spiders, only a few can bite humans, and even fewer can harm you with their venom. These are wanted, dead or smashed a lot. The female black widow and the brown recluse for being poisonous enough to ruin your day. Fatal spider bites are so rare, you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning. Oh my gosh! Okay, don't panic, but there's definitely a spider over there. And we're not gonna squish it this time, right? We'll just try to pet him, maybe? Can you pet spiders? Let's try. Whoops, nope, we squished him. I'm never gonna love spiders at this rate. Maybe I should focus on what spiders are good at. Like eating bugs. That's gotta be helpful, right? A single spider can eat over 75 pounds of bugs in a year. I've even heard that some farmers use spiders to keep harmful insects out of their crops. And, oh wait, looks like some of those bugs made it over here. Get out of here, bugs! I can even read my book with all these. Hey, what's that spider doing? Oh, what's this spider doing? It's wrapping all the bugs up in its web with some silk. Wow! Thanks, little guy. That was really impressive. Here's some spider presents for you. Aw, did you make that for me? I think I might finally love... Ah, cockroach! Squish it, smash it, make it go away! One thing at a time. The end. That's the end of our story. Did that book make you love spiders? Or decide that you might like spiders after all? Well, I still think spiders are kind of creepy, but I'm really trying to like spiders. And maybe my craft this week will help us like spiders a little bit more. If I make this craft and then I hang it up somewhere in my house, maybe it'll make me start to like spiders a little bit. So today, we are going to be making a spider out of a paper plate. So this is a decoration you could hang up, like I said, just to get used to liking spiders, or you could even make it kind of a spooky spider, since Halloween is coming up later this month, and you could hang it somewhere in your house as a spooky Halloween decoration. But for this activity, you're going to need a paper plate. You're going to need a piece of black paper, which I already cut up into my 8 strips. Those are going to be my spider legs. You're going to need a pair of scissors so you can cut up those spider legs into strips. And a couple markers. I got a red marker and a black marker here. And then you could either use glue, or I'm going to use a stapler, I think, to attach my spider legs to my plate. So first things first is I'm going to give my spider a nice happy face, I think, since I'm going to make my spider a spider that makes me want to like spiders a little bit more. So I'm going to kind of try to make my spider a little bit happy. So first thing I need to do is give it some eyes. Do you remember how many eyes a spider has? It has 8 eyes. I have to make sure to give it 8 eyes. Let's see here. 1, 2. I'm going to make 2 kind of bigger than the rest. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There we go. So I've got my 8 spider eyes. Ooh, and then I need to add a spider mouth, which I think I'm going to make mine kind of, like I said, a happy mouth. So we'll give him kind of a little bit of a smile there. Oh, but since he's a spider, he does need some little spider fangs. All right, I'm going to color in these eyes with my red marker. I'm going to give him some red eyes, I think. That's kind of an interesting color for spider eyes. And while we do that, while I color those in, let's answer some questions. Oh, so Cecilia would like to know, if spiders crawl in your mouth while you're sleeping? That's a very good question, Cecilia. So, that's actually a myth that has been spread around quite a lot. That spiders, that you have to watch out because spiders will crawl into your mouth while you're sleeping, or that people swallow up to 8 spiders every year while they're sleeping. Well, that's just totally made up. There's not any evidence that spiders actually do that, but in fact, there's a lot of evidence that spiders don't do that. For one, we are very, very big compared to a spider. So if you can imagine walking around in the park and finding a monster that's hundreds of times bigger than you, and you going, I'm going to go crawl in that thing's mouth and see what happens. It just wouldn't happen. Also, when we're sleeping, we're breathing really heavy. Our heart is beating. And sometimes we're even snoring. And spiders are really sensitive, like we said, to vibrations. So all those vibrations in their environment are going to kind of scare the spider away and keep it away. Also, spiders really don't like people. They like to stay away from us as much as possible. And especially a big, giant sleeping human next to a spider, we really look more like parts of their environment, almost like what we would think of as like a big building or maybe even a mountain. That's how spiders see humans. We're just so much bigger than them that they don't really want to bother us very much, especially if we're big and moving around a lot. They really don't want to stay away from us. And like I said, they really kind of want to stay away from us too while they're sleeping. They'd much rather spend their time looking for insects to eat rather than climbing around inside your mouth. That's a good question, though. I'm glad you brought that up. All right, now I'm going to make some spider legs using these strips of paper. Like I said, I already cut these strips of paper into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 little strips, and I'm going to turn these into my spider legs. So we're going to do what's called an accordion fold on all these spider legs. So what we do with that is we take our strip and we fold it just a little bit like that, and then I'm going to fold it back the other way, and then back the other way, and the other way, and the other way, over and over and over again, until I get a nice springy spider leg, just like that, when I unfold it. So I'm going to do that with all of my spider legs now. And while we do that, while we work on that part, let's answer some more questions. All right, so Elle would like to know, what is the smallest spider in the world? That's a very good question, because most spiders are a lot smaller than us, right? Even the biggest spider is a lot smaller than a person. But the smallest spider in the world is a spider called the Patu digua. And it is a very, very small spider. When they are full grown, they are only about 0.5 millimeter across. That is really small. So their body is about the size of the head of a pin, or even smaller sometimes. They are really, really teeny, tiny spiders. It's a wonder that scientists were even able to find a teeny tiny spider so small. And now we also want to know, if we're talking about the smallest spider, Aaron wants to know what the biggest spider in the world is. So the biggest spider in the world is called the South American Goliath bird-eating spider. It is a very, very big spider. Each one of this spider's legs can grow to be 1 foot long. That is a really big spider. In fact, when scientists, when they first started finding these things, they would hear them rustling around Or I even heard a story about someone he was in the dark down in South America in his little cabin, and he heard something rustling around in his cabin, and he turned on the light, and he saw what he thought was maybe a small mammal, almost like it was about the size of a puppy. But it wasn't a small mammal at all. It was a bird-eating spider. So these spiders, like their name suggests, are so big that they actually catch and eat birds like some other spiders catch and eat flies and other little teeny tiny insects. So that's a really, really big spider. I've only got a couple more of my legs to fold, so that means I've got time to answer another question. Elle also wants to know if spiders know how to swim. Some spiders do. Not all spiders can swim, but some spiders absolutely know how to swim. There are actually some diving spiders, and there are spiders who even are able to hold a little bubble of air. They can make a little bubble of air that they hold against the second part of their body, the back part of their body, which is called their opithosoma. They can hold a little bubble of air against their opithosoma so that they can actually still even breathe while they're underwater. They hold it against their lungs. Pretty interesting, right? So spiders, even though we don't find spiders that live underwater, there are spiders that are good at swimming or can get down in the water and swim around. All right, so now I've got my spider head, and I've got my 8 little spider legs, and now all I need to do is I'm going to use my stapler, which again, you could use glue for this part, to hold all of my little spider legs on my spider body. 3, this is my third one. 4. Okay, I've got 4 legs on this side of my spider's body. Now I can flip it around, and I can put 4 legs on the other side of my spider's body. 1, 2, 3, and 1 more. 4. Perfect. There we go. So now I've got my 8 little spider legs all around the outside of my spider plate. I think I'm going to go home and find a good place to hang up this spider so I can maybe learn to like spiders a little bit more and watch out for the spiders. Or I could even punch a little hole at the top here, and I could hang a string from my spider, and then it would look like it's hanging down on a thread of silk from its web. That might be kind of fun too. Maybe I'll do that when I get home. Thank you guys so much for visiting with us today and learning all about spiders. And I hope that you'll join us next week when we're going to be talking about fossils, because next Wednesday is National Fossil Day. So I hope you join us for that, and we'll see you next time.